It's time for the Tory Verdi Coaches Show. The Pitt Panthers Tory Verdi Coaches Show on the Pitt Radio Network is brought to you by Huntington Bank. Get more from money. The Tory Verdi Coaches Show is on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network.
And welcome into the Peterson Event Center here on the University of Pittsburgh campus. This is the Tory Verdi Coaches Show. I'm Josh Roundtree, joined by the head coach of the Pitt women's basketball team, Tory Verdi, for our first episode of the Tory Verdi Coaches Show this season. Coach, good to see you. A couple of wins in a row here, including one on Monday night against Central Connecticut State. And I thought your team, some offensive struggles early, then found a rhythm as the game went on. And I thought your defense really solid from start to finish.
Yeah, I thought defensively, we kind of dictated there a little bit, and offensively, we still got to figure out a way to score and be consistent throughout all four periods. But the most important thing, I thought collectively as a group, we looked like, we were assembled as a team. We played as a team. Where in the games past, I felt like we've been fractured, still trying to figure out some leadership, still trying to figure out, roles and responsibilities and things of that nature. And so that's what happens, when you have some, young players in the program and players, 10 new faces that you added to the program and so forth. So I'm hoping that, this is trending in the right direction.
I think one thing is you start to look around the country and you look at teams that had a lot of turnover. It is a struggle early. You're not the only team that's kind of gone through some bumps in the road, some ups and downs here early. It is difficult right now. Obviously, the transfer portal has been a big part of this with players leaving and you're filling in. You have a lot of freshmen on this team, certainly, that you brought in as well. But how do you work through that? I mean, you get time in the summer to get them ready, but there's nothing like when the lights come on and the games are real.
Absolutely. And summer's hard. I mean, you're only allowed 4 hours, to work with them. And the majority of what we do is all individual improvement. So it's not really team-based and so forth. And then you basically have about, 5 weeks to get them prepared for a season. And that's not much at all. And and we absolutely, I think you're exactly right about we're not the only program who is struggling, especially with the amount of new faces that we have, and so it's hard. It's hard to just get chemistry and roles and just moving around, different pieces and so forth. And then all of a sudden you start implementing, a defensive system, offensive system. And then you're realizing, what players can pick things up and what players can't, and who struggles with, understanding plays and concepts and screening action and team defense and this, that, and the other. And all of a sudden, we could go play pickup. But once you start playing team basketball, there's so much more than just basketball. And, it's been certainly a whirlwind for, a lot of new faces, a roller coaster ride. And then expectations, where we thought, we could depend on, certain players. Necessarily, it's been a little bit of a struggle and so forth. So, we're taking it day by day. We're teaching as much as we possibly can. And our players need to really do a better job of retaining that information, and really investing themselves and understanding it, so we could keep moving in the right direction.
Obviously, injuries happen to every team, but you're 10 games in and injuries have been a storyline so far, not just the ones that have been suffered, but players coming back from them as well. What's been the challenge with that? Because, I was going down the line during the game Monday night and looking and essentially half of the roster has dealt with some sort of injury here either this year or they're coming off of an injury as well. And that's just the ones that we know about, not necessarily the bumps and bruises that go along with, the course of off-season and training and all that.
Sure, frustration because you never know. Your identity continues to change. And the last thing I'm going to do is sit here and talk to you and like have excuses, in regards to our season right now as we're sitting 6-4. But it's definitely hard because it's like you never know who what you're going to be, and then who you're depending on, and all of a sudden they're out for 3 to 4 games. Losing Carla hurt us, especially when we're seeing a lot of zone early on, and not having her, one of the best shooters in the country, not on the floor hurts you. And so it's been frustrating because then now all of a sudden somebody else has to play a different spot and so forth. And, that chemistry piece constantly changes. And, Lauren breaks her nose. She it's just hard, because it changes you and you never know, how they're going to react to all this. You got Mimi coming in, who sat out all last year, and she finally gets cleared to play, and she's still trying to get some game time underneath her feet to get back, get in game shape, and not playing for a year, definitely changes her as well. And then there's a confidence thing piece that she needs to get back as well. So like all these things are thrown your way, and you just try to figure it out, and the last thing that I constantly tell our team is that regardless of what's going on within our program, you can always go out in the court, and work hard. Nobody could ever take that from you, but you have to understand there's a frustration piece when things aren't working, when you're not playing together defensively, and you're giving up points, and it's just demoralizing, and then you become defeated, and the one thing that I saw, in several games where it's so disappointing to me is that we quit. And to me, that's controllable. You never quit. The last thing, when people come out and watch us play, they should be like, wow, they work really hard. And then when they leave, like, regardless of the results, be like, okay, they work really hard, all right, but you could see that, they're making progress. And when, that's not the perception, for me personally, that kills me. And so again, it's about teaching. It's about showing our players, showing them what they look like and how they, carry themselves, on the court as well. I shouldn't have to be, coaching, when we have timeouts, like you sprint off the floor, you sprint into the huddle. And those are some of the things, they're little things, but to me, they're really, really big things. You never show your cards. You never show your opponent, that you're frustrated. And, those are signs. And we got to be better there. And I think, the maturation process as it unfolds, I think that's something that you learn. Older players understand that, where I think the young ones, definitely show it in their body language.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll talk more about that and some of the positive things that we've seen from this young group and relatively inexperienced group of Panthers. When we come back, this is the Tory Verdi Coaches Show here on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network.
At UPMC, we believe care goes beyond our walls and into our communities. That's why we support organizations and individuals who help people prosper by giving them skills and training for employment, including right here at UPMC. Because life-changing is providing people a chance to grow. Learn more at upmc.com/community impact. UPMC, life-changing medicine.
Hon, is your new pinball machine in our budget?
KeyBank will meet you in that our money is now our money moment.
Actually, our banker Steve recommended we start a joint checking account for bills and keep our individual accounts for things like, pinball machines.
Did someone say Banker Steve? I was in the neighborhood, in case you had any checking account questions.
Steve, you're always there for us. Now, how quickly can we open that account?
Steve, are you seeing this?
For every financial need, we'll meet you in the moment. KeyBank opens doors. KeyBank, member FDIC.
When it comes to financial planning, most financial companies ask, what's your salary? At Northwestern Mutual, we ask, what's your story? We know building the right financial plan means looking at more than money. That's why we start by asking the right questions, listening to what matters most to you, then guiding you every step of the way to help you live the life you want. Plan your financial story with Northwestern Mutual. Contact Northwestern Mutual Pittsburgh today. Visit pittsburgh.nm.com. The Northwestern Mutual Life Insurance Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Do you desire a career in the electrical industry, have a strong work ethic, and take pride in your work? Well, the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers Local Number 5 has immediate opportunities for you. Earn industry-leading wages and benefits, including health care for your family, retirement packages, continuing education programs, pathways for advancement, and so much more. For information, call 412-432-1400 or visit us online at ibw5.org today.
And welcome back to the Peterson Event Center for the Tory Verdi Coaches Show here at the Pitt as the Panthers get set to take on Mississippi State in the ACC SEC Challenge coming up on Thursday night down in Starkville, Mississippi. We'll talk more about that a little bit later. Obviously, we've talked about some of the difficulties in the first 10 games of the season. Kind of crazy to think that we're already 10 games in. I mean, essentially a third of the way through the regular season at this point. But there have been some bright spots along the way as well with those maturity issues, perhaps, or growing issues. There's also been some really good moments. The comeback win against Robert Morris in particular, when you get down 19 points, you're probably wanting to pull your hair out at that point, but your team really clamped down and came back. What are some things that you saw in that game in particular that you look at and say, all right, if we play like this, we're going to be okay?
Yeah, I think, the one thing that we could take away from that game is, yes, we were down and it was frustrating, but we found a way, to come back and, be tough enough and show like, hey, look, we could do this, you guys. It only takes one person, and then, that vibe, that energy just becomes infectious. But I thought we buckled down and defensively, and, we're able to create some offense from our defense. And obviously, the zone was buzzing around and it gave them a ton of difficulty where, they couldn't do what they wanted to do. Early on, they were just executing offensively, driving and kicking, scoring it at all three levels. And we were just really struggling to contain dribble penetration and so forth. And so, that's an area we got to be better in. But I liked our fight, we just need to figure out how to be consistent for 4 periods in every single game that we play.
You mentioned the zone. You implemented that during that Robert Morris game, something you worked on during the course of that week. You and I had a good conversation a couple weeks ago about zone defense. It's not just as simple as 2 go in the front, 3 go in the back, and you just put your hands up and make things happen and stop people. I mean, there's intricacies in a zone defense. How much time and preparation does it take to get a zone defense working and buzzing and doing the things that it needs to do? It's not just an overnight, hey, we're going to put in a zone and it's going to work. It did in that Robert Morris game because maybe your team was feeling the energy of it, and Robert Morris perhaps wasn't fully expecting it. But it's difficult, right, to establish a team as a zone team and have it be successful.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And the thing is that they weren't expecting it. They weren't able to exploit it, to be honest with you. But in the ACC, we have a lot of really good coaches who will exploit it. Mm-hmm. So you have to know exactly where to be, and you need to know your responsibilities depending on where the ball is and who's around you. So you're absolutely right. You don't just stand around and you got 2 people up front, 3 in the back. You're always doing different things depending on where the ball goes, from top to wing to corner. It's just not something that, you just sit there and you stand and so forth. So it's complicated. Every time the ball goes in the high post, your guards have to fin. That way you cover every situation, because the last thing you want to do is, give up open shots. And depending on where the ball goes, you could give up shots, because what the offense tries to do is they try to create 2-on-1 scenarios along the backside, and there's always a bang-bang pass to a 3, or, it could be short corner pass and then high post dive to the basket. So you have to be aware of all those scenarios, and most importantly, you have to play off one another. And the last thing is you got to be great with your communication. You got to constantly be talking and moving and have a ton of energy within it. And if you don't, you will get picked apart.
Speaking of the positives, obviously it's a young team, an inexperienced team. Teresa Hagen's first couple of games comes off the bench for you, eventually wins the starting point guard job, top 100 recruit. She goes for 17 points the other night against Central Connecticut. She's had a couple of big scoring games so far. I thought defensively she got activated at times pretty well, forced some steals. You guys were able to get some runouts and some easy layups. What have you seen with her development to this point from a skills standpoint, and what's still to come for Teresa?
Yeah, I think that her best basketball is ahead of her. Getting acclimated to a college environment, what expectations and how hard you have to play each and every single day. And I think that, in high school, they could just show up. They're always the best one in the gym. So they never have to work extremely hard. Where here, we're trying to make sure that she understands that every possession matters. Like, you can't take a break. You can't not play a possession, because that's the one possession. That's the difference between winning games and losing games and so forth. So, we've been communicating that and teaching, and it's all part of her maturation process. But, again, she has the ability to score the basketball for us. Got to value the ball a little bit more, as far as, entry passes go in initiating our offense and all that. But, again, there's going to be a learning curve. She has to be a direct extension of me on the court. and then understanding time and score and so forth as well. The last thing we want to do is take a quick shot, and give our opponents the ball back with 10 seconds to go and so forth. So understanding time and score and understanding the pace and understanding that, where we need her to be, and especially the things that we need her to do as well. But, she's showing up each and every single day. I think that, she's invested. She wants to get better. And like I said, I think her best basketball is ahead of her.
Yeah, absolutely. Had a great night in the win over Central Connecticut. 17 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, and 4 steals in the win against Central Connecticut State for Teresa Hagans. We'll talk more about this Panthers group when we come back. This is the Tori Verdi Show on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network.
Okay, true stories from Huntington customers with Kitty.
So, tell me about yourself.
I was blind from birth.
That must make banking difficult.
That requires a lot of trust. Before I could even ask, Huntington offered their statements in Braille. That made me feel like I was as important as you are.
I'm sure.
It feels like just the right place.
Get more than money from your bank. Welcome to Huntington. Real people compensated for true stories.
We believe healthcare should treat the whole person and the whole community. At UPMC, we aim to do just that by partnering with organizations that help bring fresh and healthy food to the people who need it most. Because life-changing is caring for you before you ever walk in our doors. Learn more at upmc.com/community impact. UPMC. Life-changing medicine.
Find sweet success with Sarah's Candies fundraising. We've been helping groups like yours raise money for over 60 years and offer a variety of flexible programs to find a fundraising solution that works for everyone. Maximize your profits with our holiday brochure sale. Fundraise 100% online with our online ordering program, or earn up to 70% profit by selling chocolate bars and pretzel rods year-round. Fundraising with Sarah's Candies is easy and profitable. Visit sarahscandiesfundraising.com or call 1-800-255-7771 to get started today.
As on the basketball court, financial planning requires a comprehensive playbook to win the wealth management game. JKS Financial understands that your needs are unique and will provide the game plan to win with your financial goals. Their financial advisors use a proven wealth optimization system with a focus on retirement distribution strategy and will coach you through your journey to financial stability and peace of mind for the future. Visit jks-financial.nm.com.
And welcome back to the Peterson Events Center for the Tori Verdi Coaches Show right here on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network. We talked about Teresa Hagans. I want to talk about the post play as well that you've gotten. But I want to ask you first. This is year 3 for you in Pittsburgh. I know you're a workaholic and you spend a lot of time on your craft. What have you gotten to enjoy about Pittsburgh so far in your time here? I know it's been a whirlwind kind of since you started. You got going and you have a season, and then you're right into the next one. You're right into the next one. But have you taken a moment to just enjoy the city a little bit and enjoy, what is still a relatively new home for you?
It is relatively a new home, and unfortunately, my answer is no. Hopefully things slow down and we can. I've only golfed one time in the last 3 years. I have a golf membership at Treesdale Country Club, and
I'll wait for the invite this summer.
And I just never have had time to get out there to really enjoy that and so forth. So, but definitely would like to. Obviously I'm a big foodie, and there's a ton of restaurants in Pittsburgh, and definitely want to visit the majority of them and take in that just not only the food, the culture, and all the other things that Pittsburgh has to offer.
When you're recruiting players, you're bringing them here and you're showing them the city. Everybody knows this is a city that you can pretty easily fall in love with quickly. Is that something that you sort of accentuate to your student athletes, that this is a place that you can make a home, you can call this home, and you can be comfortable here, and there's things to do, there's activities galore at any time of year? I mean, is that something that, not just selling basketball, what you're doing on the court and school and all that, but also where they're going to be for hopefully at least 4 years of their career?
Absolutely. When we start at Mount Washington, it doesn't get better than that, just to take in that view, especially at nighttime, when the city's lit it up, and and we talk about you can have the city in your palm. There's so much that you could do and explore, and it's a vibrant city. It's alive, and it's a safe city, and like you said, there's so much to do. And so forth. So we're fortunate that we have that at our disposal, and we definitely utilize it when it comes to recruiting.
And we won't talk about the weather today. That was a little bit of a rude awakening with some snow coming in here this week. But for the most part, the weather's been all right so far this fall. We mentioned what you have at the point guard position with Teresa. You make the move to bring in Fatima Jahate out of Georgia, a transfer from Georgia. The first time I saw her, it's hard not to think about Hadijah Faye and what she was able to do for you last year. Another 6'5" center coming in, and from an SEC school at that. And Fati is, I think, progressing nicely. What we've seen from her Monday night, she has 8 blocks in a game, which is the 6th most in Pitt history. What's been your impression of her? And I know you're really high on her potential as a player.
Yeah, we also have to remember she's only a junior, right? And so she still has another year. And Hadijah was older and more mature.
Yeah.
And a little bit more seasoned when it comes to just how physical she was, and that's something that Fati has to embrace. And Hadijah did a great job of just utilizing her body and ducking in on people and being imposing. And so Fati's a little bit different. That's really not her game. She could do it, no question about it. And when she does, we're really good. At the same point in time, there's a little bit more to her game where, she could shoot the jumper. She could, step off to the short corner and knock down shots as well. So, she has more to offer. We will utilize that when need be.
Yeah.
But at the same point in time, she's still young. She still has this whole full season and next year as well. So that's why we were excited about her, just having that time to really work with her, develop her as well. With Hadijah, we didn't have much time.
Yeah.
It was like 8 months, and then she was off and running, but she was pretty good when she was here.
Yeah, certainly was. Back-to-back years, you've taken a post player who, was kind of just average from a point production and rebound production standpoint with Leah King and then Hadijah, and turned them into 2 back-to-back ACC first-team players. And obviously it's a system that can accentuate post play. What is it about working the ball? And this year's been maybe a little bit more guard-oriented in the way that you run your offense, but I know you've had a lot of success in your career getting your scoring through the post. What is it about that method of scoring, and does it really just kind of open up things when you have a big, so to say, that can score the basketball?
Well, it does, but you want to make sure that you have a balanced scoring attack, and it's about taking advantage of your strengths. You look out on the floor and you look at your personnel, and you're looking at, okay, who could do what, how can we score, this and that. You want to take advantage of all that stuff, and then you kind of just create offenses that you feel like, okay, regardless of who we're playing, this is what we could get out of it, and so forth. We know that we could ISO Fati on the block, and she can score it, so of course we're going to run some stuff through her. But we also have guards that can get downhill. We need to do a better job of that. Our offense was predicated on downhill drives, and so we're kind of working that out as we speak right now. I'd like to utilize on ball screens a little bit more here in the near future, but we got to have a balance of scoring tech. You got to be able to score at all 3 levels, because there are going to be nights where teams are going to try to take out Fati, whether it's a quick double or what have you, or maybe it's just not her night. You got to be able to still put the ball in the basket and utilize your players in different ways and so forth. So it's a conversation as a staff that it's just ongoing, and we're always manipulating the offenses as well, depending on where we are in the season and what's working, what's not, and so forth. So it's always a work in progress.
Absolutely. We'll be back momentarily with more of the Tori Verdi Coaches Show here on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network.
Mom, can you tell us a story about Ted?
There once was a Clearview expert named Ted who helped a family plan for their future ahead. A savings account started their journey to grow.
Financial advice is closer than you think. Clearview, clearly different. Hey Pitt fans, at LB Foster Company, we innovate to solve global infrastructure challenges. Our technology and product-based solutions support both efficient rail transportation and public infrastructure. We work hard every day to help keep our world moving. If you'd like to join our team or want to learn more about us, please check us out at lbfoster.com. Thanks, and hail to Pitt!
We believe healthcare should treat the whole person and the whole community. At UPMC, we aim to do just that by partnering with organizations that help bring fresh and healthy food to the people who need it most. Because life-changing is caring for you before you ever walk in our doors. Learn more at upmc.com/community impact. UPMC. Life-changing medicine.
Hey, who's that girl helping you with your draft picks?
Oh, that's my Clearview expert, Jen. What do you always say, Jen?
Diversify your lineup, just like your investment portfolio.
Yes! She's a genius!
Financial advice is closer than you think. Clearview, clearly different.
And welcome back to the Tory Verdi Coaches Show here on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network. Josh Roundtree with you, and I'm now joined by Panthers forward Lauren Rust. Lauren, welcome in. Can you take me through? You guys are coming off of a nice win over Central Connecticut State, and I thought there was like a big moment in that game where you guys scored 10 points in a minute and 11 seconds. Can you take me through what was going on collectively during a minute and 11 seconds where you score 5 buckets?
Yeah, I'd just say we had a lot of energy in that moment. I know we were pressing a lot, so just getting a lot of steals. We, as a team, were just working really well collectively, and I feel like the energy through all of us was really just feeding off each other. You could see it from the bench, the coaches. We were all just super excited for each other. And overall, throughout the whole game, I feel like our effort was there from the start, and you could just see that specifically in that one play, in that 5 minutes, that we were really just going at them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so, I mean, you have 4 assists in that game the other night as well. I'm sorry, 5 assists in that game. Your career high previously was 2. How much have you worked on and developed your ability to pass the basketball, seeing the floor? And a lot of that has to come with, just anticipating where your teammates and a collectively young group is going to be, right?
Yes, for sure. Coach Verdi likes to draw up some plays coming out of timeouts, and they're typically either for our shooters or a backdoor cut. And like last night, I got a reverse pivot and threw it to T, and she got an and one, which was a really big play for us. Just being where I am at the right time and looking for my shooters has been really important to me. And just every game, like you said, seeing the floor has been
it's been good, right?
It's been good, yeah.
Yeah. You have another post player that's 6'5" in Fati. She erased 8 shots last night, eight block shots for you. How nice is it to have, really for the second year in a row, and I know you only got 3 games in last year, but you had Hadijah last year who could block shots. Now you have Fati who goes out and blocks 8 shots in one game. To have an eraser like that, how much better does that make your defense when she's doing that?
Oh, it's huge for sure. I know we were playing a lot of zone last night, but even when they were attacking, because they were an attacking team, they weren't really a shooting team, but when they were attacking, just anytime like someone would get blown by or someone would go past us, she's in the center, she's the 5 in our zone defense. So anytime a driver would go by, she would just be kind of like our safety blanket, and it's really nice to have someone who is that lengthy and that wants to block shots. And I know Fati's been working on wanting to block more shots, so it's been really huge for us. And especially with a smaller team, just no one can get by her. That was incredible last night to see that.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a random question. Do you know who Rip Hamilton is?
No.
So Rip Hamilton played for the Pistons back in like the 2000s, and he broke his nose.
Okay.
And he put a mask on to protect his nose. You know where I'm going with this because you broke your nose and you're having to wear a mask right now. But he played so well in it that he never took it off again.
Really?
He just kept wearing the mask because he liked the protection. He liked how it felt, and he got in a rhythm and started scoring. I don't think you're going to wear a mask for the rest of your career, but what's that been like to deal with the mask on these first couple of games? I mean, you came right back wearing it the next game, and you brought a lot of energy still even with it on.
Yeah, so when I first initially broke my nose at Lafayette, I tried the mask on for like couple plays. It felt really weird because my nose was really in a lot of pain, but we went to Florida last week. I practiced with it. We had a shoot around, then I went into 2 straight games wearing the mask. It was the first time ever, and it's a bit of a weird feeling. The cutouts they're big, but then the nose is kind of in your peripheral, and like in warm-ups I was trying to figure out like how to adjust my shot because I like to bring the ball close to my face, so it kept hitting the mask. Definitely kind of hard to see sometimes when I'm like trying to look at the rim. It's kind of in my face. And yeah, so we're definitely getting a custom mask, but that's funny that you said that he kept wearing the mask because, maybe good things are going to happen while I'm wearing it, but... I
mean, if you come out and drop like 20 or something or double-double...
I might have to wear it.
It might have to go for a little while.
But yeah, it's definitely an adjustment, and I'm excited to, learn to wear it and learn how to play with it, so yeah.
Obviously, speaking of injuries, unfortunately, you go back last year. After the third game, you suffer a traumatic injury, and you miss the rest of the season. What has it been like, the recovery process? Can you take us through it, not just the physical part of it, but the mental part of it, getting confidence back, getting strength back? What has that been like for you, and how much better do you feel now than, say, this time last year with that?
Honestly, it's kind of crazy to say that. I feel like everything does kind of happen for a reason. Like, at the time I was like, why did this happen to me? I was getting a rhythm 3 games in, and then that happened to me. So it was definitely hard, like you said, mentally. A lot of days in the training room, a lot of hours just rehabbing my leg. And luckily I had a great support staff. Like my athletic trainer is great. My physical therapist was great. And just the coaches' support was really, really helpful during that time. But yeah, I kind of got back to practicing in March the next year, and I did a bit of a scout team, so I kind of got my rhythm back, trying to get my confidence back, but it's hard because I'm not getting into games. But yeah, over the summer, it was really big for me to grind and get stronger. Coach Cam, our strength coach, is awesome. He came in and put on a really good summer training for us, so that was really big for me as well, and I feel like I gained a lot of strength. I feel stronger than ever, and I feel like that injury almost helped me, and I feel better than ever.
Tell me about back home, British Columbia, Victoria, British Columbia. Tell me about that. How did you get involved in the game of basketball up there in Canada to begin with, and what was it like growing up in that area of the country? It's a beautiful area, obviously, up there in BC.
Yeah, Victoria, British Columbia is one of the greatest places ever, so if you haven't visited, I really recommend.
It's on the list, yeah.
It's on the list, yes. But I started basketball in about grade 4, just doing elementary school stuff. Basketball wasn't really big back in BC, so just trying to do whatever I could. I traveled to Vancouver, the mainland, a lot of weekends to get better training with more high-level players. But then I started in high school, wanted to take this seriously. We got second in the provincial finals, and then COVID year happened, and we didn't have my sophomore year. I didn't have a season, and I really wanted to take this somewhere bigger. So I was like, I probably should go to the States eventually to get better training and get more experience. And I have an aunt in Tennessee, so I was talking to her. I'm like, hey, is there any schools there that could help me out? So she showed me, or she kind of recommended a school called the Webb School, which I went to. Didn't even tour the school, just was like, hit up the coach, was like, hey, any space, could I join? It was 2 weeks late into the school year, and I got on a flight the next couple of days, went down there, and just had one of the greatest years of my life down there. 2 great years with a really high level high school team, so that was really awesome. And then I played AAU, and then now I'm here.
Yeah, and I think we've seen a couple of players, your high school teammates along the way, right, at other schools. So that's a place that churns out some pretty good talent. When you're back at home in the summertime, what are you doing? What are you getting into back at home? Obviously, you got a lot of nature up there, right?
Yeah, so I'm from Victoria, which is on Vancouver Island, so a lot of boating. We like to... there's lakes, but my family specifically likes to boat. There's a lot of cool islands around. We go to the U.S., San Juan Islands. A lot of outdoor time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
little cold up there sometimes, so today's probably not quite as bad for you as it might be for some others. Our next guest, it shouldn't be too bad for her either because she's coming from Alaska here to Pittsburgh, so we're going to talk to Michaela Johnson next. Lauren, thanks so much. Good luck down in Mississippi. That's Lauren Rust. We'll be back with Michaela Johnson next here on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network.
A bicentennial isn't measured in years alone, but in progress. And KeyBank has been there to celebrate yours, building homes, businesses, and communities together, bringing new opportunities to generation after generation. For 200 years, KeyBank's been meeting you in the moments that matter most. Here's to 2 centuries of service and counting. KeyBank opens doors. KeyBank, member FDIC.
When it comes to financial planning, most financial companies ask, what's your salary? At Northwestern Mutual, we ask, what's your story? We know building the right financial plan means looking at more than money. That's why we start by asking the right questions, listening to what matters most to you, then guiding you every step of the way to help you live the life you want. Plan your financial story with Northwestern Mutual. Contact Northwestern Mutual Pittsburgh today. Visit pittsburgh.nm.com. The Northwestern Mutual Life Insurance Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Do you desire a career in the electrical industry, have a strong work ethic, and take pride in your work? Well, the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers Local Number 5 has immediate opportunities for you. Earn industry-leading wages and benefits, including health care for your family, retirement packages, continuing education programs, pathways for advancement, and so much more. For information, call 412-432-1400 or visit us online at ibw5.org today.
Okay, true stories from Huntington customers with Kitty.
So, tell me about yourself.
I was blind from birth.
That must make banking difficult.
That requires a lot of trust. Before I could even ask, Huntington offered their statements in Braille. That made me feel like I was as important as you are.
I'm sure.
It feels like just the right place.
Get more than money from your bank. Welcome to Huntington. Real people compensated for true stories.
Back here at the Peterson Event Center, this is the Tori Verdi Coaches Show on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network, and I'm now joined by the Panthers' leading scorer, and that is Michaela Johnson, a 6'1" redshirt junior out of Anchorage, Alaska, the first ever Alaskan to play for Pitt. And we were just talking with Lauren Rust about her hometown. Tell me about Alaska. What was it like growing up in that area of the world? Obviously, a very beautiful area, just like British Columbia. But what was it like growing up in that area of the world?
Honestly, not very different from like the states I've been to. Like, I haven't noticed how crazy it is being from Alaska till I actually told somebody like I'm from Alaska, and they're like, what? And then they hit me with a bunch of questions. I'm like, oh yeah, like living in Alaska is actually like crazy. Like you have the daylight all the time in the summer, then it's dark all the time in the winter, and then like the extreme weather. And I'm like, I guess it is pretty unique being from Alaska. Yeah,
it is. The daylight nighttime thing, that dynamic is definitely different. Is that where you got? And you're probably going to know as soon as I say this. Is that where you got the love of seafood at? Because you know last year in the hotel in North Carolina, I think, you showed up with like a whole seafood boil, you and Michaela Elmore. Is that where you fell in love with seafood?
I would say, yeah, that's the best it gets up in Alaska, fresh caught. But I would say I just love seafood. Yeah, I'm a big seafood person.
Obviously you've had a nice start to the season. Really good game the other night with 17 points against Central Connecticut State. When you're playing at your best, what are you doing well? Describe who you are when Michaela Johnson is at her best.
I would say she's in the flow. She's confident. She just believes in herself. I always have my mom trying to tell me and just preach to me like, you don't have to be perfect, just be present. And that's what I've been trying to do more often.
Is physicality a big part of your game too?
I would say yes. Sometimes I have to know when to tone it down because the refs get me here and there, but I do love a good bump.
See, I've talked about that a lot because not to get too deep into, the way that women's basketball and men's basketball is officiated, but I mean, you play the game downhill, and that seems like it's maybe a little bit more allowed on the men's side than it is. I mean, you get hit with some offensive fouls. Like, how have you gone about knowing when to pick those spots, when to be aggressive on the attack? There's a balancing act in there, right?
Yeah, I sometimes like to, see what the refs are calling, what they're not calling,
Right.
and then I just really take it from there. Whenever I get hit with the one where I'm like, it's not really a charge, I'm like, okay, I got to tone down for this game. Whenever they're letting me play, I let loose.
Yeah. You go back early last season. You come in from Colorado. You kind of played sparingly there. You come in your second year here to Pittsburgh, or third year to Pittsburgh, and you get some opportunity early on. What was it about the opportunity that you got last season to sort of develop your game, to maybe work through some ups and downs, and how do you feel like that's made you better as you now head into a big year?
I feel like any opportunity granted to you as a basketball player just makes you better. I feel like there's no better reps than live reps.
Yeah.
So just getting that under my belt last year really helped, like slowing the game down for me, seeing like how I feel like actually playing, because like you said, I didn't play at Colorado really. So last year was like my first year playing in college, and it was definitely like an eye opener of like, wow, like I'm here now. Like,
yeah.
Let's do it. And I would say, like, even taking last year is still, like, using the beginning games from this year and, like, trying to prepare myself for season, like, conference play.
Yeah, I mean, you're obviously a player that's been in college basketball for a little while, but still not fully experienced like somebody could be with the amount of time that you spent at the college level. How much, though, is this year about maybe developing some leadership qualities to who you are both on the court and off the court? You have a young team around you. There's a lot of freshmen on this team. What's it like in that regard, trying to step up and be a presence for them and somebody that they can look to and say, hey, this is how you get it done at this level?
I think it's very important. Not only am I a leader here, I have a little brother. Like, I have to be a leader on and off the court and set that example. So I feel like I try to take those qualities and, like, I guess pass it along, like, treat them as my little sisters and just use that, because I feel like with it being a young team, they need somebody to look up to, someone that's been at this level for a little bit, someone who knows what they're, talking about sometimes. So, I mean, I like to keep that little mixture of, like, let's have a little fun and let's, like, get to work when it's time.
Yeah, absolutely. Here in Pittsburgh, what have you enjoyed about your time in the city? Do you have, like, a favorite spot, a favorite thing to do? What has Pittsburgh meant to you so far?
I would say I love Pittsburgh because of the diversity, especially in the food area. I'm a big person of trying new things, so I get on TikTok and I just
boils and
yeah. I would say, like, you can catch me at a new restaurant basically every week, if not 1, 2, 3 times a week.
Do you have a favorite spot? Go to?
I would say for breakfast right now, the speckled egg. Have you heard of it?
Yeah, okay.
That's a good hit for pregame.
Yeah.
I do like that. For dinner, I couldn't tell you yet. I mean, tonight I am going to Eddie V's, so that'll be a nice little dinner. I like to do it big sometimes.
Yeah, that's doing it big. That's nice. You go steak or seafood at Eddie V's?
I'm a steak girl too at heart.
Yeah. All right. So I know what the order is going to be. You guys have a big game coming up Thursday night, Mississippi State ACC SEC Challenge. That's obviously a step up. They're a solid team. They're off to a good start this year. What do you tell the group that hasn't been involved in a game like that against a team of that caliber about what to expect, and what do you expect to bring when you take on the Bulldogs Thursday night?
Yeah, I feel like going into any game, good team, bad team, whatever you want to say, I feel like you just got to expect to battle. And I think this game is going to be a big battle and test like where we're at right now in this season. And it's going to show who's the tougher team, really. And I'm excited, honestly. I expect for me just to show up and be that leader, especially against a more, like, solid team. So
yeah, absolutely. I don't think I've ever asked you this before. Initials are MJ, you wear 23. Do you wear it for Michael Jordan? Or does it just work out that way?
I am a big fan of Michael Jordan, but, just happened to work out that way, too.
Well, you're wearing it well so far this season. 17 points in the win against Central Connecticut State, and now a matchup with Mississippi State on Thursday night. MJ, thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, that is Michaela Johnson. We'll be back with Tori Verdi next here on the Tori Verdi Coaches Show.
UPMC believes that not having a place to call home is as much of a health emergency as anything else. That's why we're working to increase access to affordable and stable housing across Pennsylvania by partnering with local organizations. Because life-changing is helping you before you ever walk in our doors. Learn more at upmc.com/community impact. UPMC. Life-changing medicine.
Find sweet success with Sarah's Candies fundraising. We've been helping groups like yours raise money for over 60 years and offer a variety of flexible programs to find a fundraising solution that works for everyone. Maximize your profits with our holiday brochure sale. Fundraise 100% online with our online ordering program, or earn up to 70% profit by selling chocolate bars and pretzel rods year-round. Fundraising with Sarah's Candies is easy and profitable. Visit sarahscandiesfundraising.com or call 1-800-255-7771 to get started today.
As on the basketball court, financial planning requires a comprehensive playbook to win the wealth management game. JKS Financial understands that your needs are unique and will provide the game plan to win with your financial goals. Their financial advisors use a proven wealth optimization system with a focus on retirement distribution strategy and will coach you through your journey to financial stability and peace of mind for the future. Visit jks-financial.nm.com.
Hey Pitt fans, at LB Foster Company, we innovate to solve global infrastructure challenges. Our technology and product-based solutions support both efficient rail transportation and public infrastructure. We work hard every day to help keep our world moving. If you'd like to join our team or want to learn more about us, please check us out at lbfoster.com. Thanks, and hail to Pitt.
And welcome back to the Peterson Events Center. This is the Pitt Panthers Radio Network. We're now joined by Panthers coach Tori Verdi once again. Had Lauren Rustin here, Michaela Johnson in here. I want to ask you about Lauren. Obviously, difficult situation for her last year, getting injured, missing all but 3 games last year. There's some players that come back and they're maybe hesitant off of injury, what have you. Lauren, I think, game by game, has gotten stronger and stronger. She's brought in energy to your team. I thought the other night, against Central Connecticut State, her energy was really up, causing turnovers. I mean, she had 5 assists, a bunch of steals. I thought her ability to sort of get better and better in that regard has helped your team here of late.
No question about it. And you always know what you're going to get from Lauren. I mean, she's a constant. I know coming into practice, whether it's a game, I know exactly what I'm going to get from her on a day-to-day basis. And that's the beauty of Lauren. And so certainly greatly appreciate that, from her. But I thought her energy was infectious. I thought that her activity level, shooting gaps, getting steals, dropping off passes for layups, especially in that third period and where we opened it up, I believe it was 29 at one point. Yeah. She had a lot to do with that. So, yes, I think you're absolutely right as far as when you say she's getting stronger game by game by game. And she was playing really well last season. If you go back to it, I believe she had 11 or 13 against West Virginia at West Virginia.
Had 3 in that game.
Yeah, absolutely. And had a lot of confidence. And then all of a sudden an injury, and then you got setback, and then another injury, and then so it's. She's so aggressive and goes so hard, and we just gotta get her to the other side where she just doesn't get hurt and she's healthy, and because I do think that she could help us.
I asked her if she knew who Rip Hamilton was, and she didn't, but she said she's gonna maybe get a custom mask.
Different era. These kids don't know who Rip Hamilton was.
He just left the mask on.
So,
he played well and left the mask on, and they ended up winning a championship up there in Detroit.
Yep.
MJ as well. We talked with MJ. There's definitely a streakiness to her game, but when she is streaking in the right direction, boy, she is something to watch, and she can get to the rim. She can hit shots from the outside. Confidence seems like the big thing with her. When she's playing with confidence and sees 1 or 2 go in, it's like everything just takes off.
Absolutely. She's a 3-level scorer for us. That's why we brought her here. We loved watching her on film, and we loved her size on top of it, and the only thing that I think that we all struggle with is the confidence piece with her, because when things are going in and she's feeling pretty good about her situation, that she's playing great basketball, and she played great basketball throughout the ACC conference. And not having her in the last game against Virginia when she broke her finger hurt us tremendously and so forth. And that was the game that we were up and winning, and then she goes out and it kind of changed the whole trajectory of that game. But again, at the end of the day, she's definitely skilled, and she has a great skill set. we just need her to, maintain that confidence on a daily basis.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll talk next on our final segment about what's next for the Panthers coming up in the ACC-SEC Challenge. We'll do that when we come back here on the Tori Verdi Coaches Show on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network.
Mom, can you tell us a story about Ted?
There once was a Clearview expert named Ted who helped a family plan for their future ahead. As savings accounts started their journey to grow.
Financial advice is closer than you think. Clearview, clearly different.
Is your business looking for local and national health coverage? If you have more than 50 employees, UPMC Health Plan has something new for you. UPMC National Access. UPMC National Access gives employees access to the top-ranked doctors and hospitals of UPMC, along with nationwide access through the Cigna Healthcare PPO network. For the quality, affordable coverage that your company deserves, locally and nationally, choose UPMC Health Plan.
When it comes to financial planning, most financial companies ask, what's your salary? At Northwestern Mutual, we ask, what's your story? We know building the right financial plan means looking at more than money. That's why we start by asking the right questions, listening to what matters most to you, then guiding you every step of the way to help you live the life you want. Plan your financial story with Northwestern Mutual. Contact Northwestern Mutual Pittsburgh today. Visit pittsburgh.nm.com. The Northwestern Mutual Life Insurance Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Hey, who's that girl helping you with your draft picks?
Oh, that's my Clearview expert, Jen. What do you always say, Jen?
Diversify your lineup, just like your investment portfolio.
Yes! She's a genius!
Financial advice is closer than you think. Clearview, clearly different.
Hon, is your new pinball machine in our budget?
KeyBank will meet you in that our money is now our money moment.
Actually, our banker Steve recommended we start a joint checking account for bills and keep our individual accounts for things like pinball machines.
Did someone say Banker Steve? I was in the neighborhood in case you had any checking account questions.
Steve, you're always there for us. Now, how quickly can we open that account?
Steve, are you seeing this?
For every financial need, we'll meet you in the moment. KeyBank opens doors. KeyBank member FDIC.
Do you desire a career in the electrical industry, have a strong work ethic, and take pride in your work? Well, the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers Local Number 5 has immediate opportunities for you. Earn industry-leading wages and benefits, including health care for your family, retirement packages, continuing education programs, pathways for advancement, and so much more. For information, call 412-432-1400 or visit us online at ibw5.org today.
UPMC believes that not having a place to call home is as much of a health emergency as anything else. That's why we're working to increase access to affordable and stable housing across Pennsylvania by partnering with local organizations. Because life-changing is helping you before you ever walk in our doors. Learn more at upmc.com/community impact. UPMC. Life-changing medicine.
Okay, true stories from Huntington customers with Kitty.
So, tell me about yourself.
I was blind from birth.
That must make banking difficult.
That requires a lot of trust. Before I could even ask, Huntington offered their statements in Braille. That made me feel like I was as important as you are.
I'm sure.
It feels like just the right place.
Get more than money from your bank. Welcome to Huntington. Real people compensated for true stories.
And welcome back to the Peterson Event Center alongside Tori Verdi. I am Josh Roundtree. This is the Tori Verdi Coaches Show. Coach, obviously you're going to make another flight back down, and hopefully these flights are not as eventful as the one coming home from Florida where we got a little delayed out of the Naples tournament. But going to head down to Starkville in Mississippi to take on a Mississippi State program that is 7-1 so far this year. Obviously there's some history with that program, some success within that program over the years. Sam Purcell, their fourth-year head coach. Early on when you watch the film on the Bulldogs, what stands out? And I'm guessing it seems to me just seeing SEC teams in person over the years, there's always a toughness, a physicality. There's players who just have a good bit of size and strength when you talk about SEC basketball.
And that's exactly what we will see in 2 nights from now. Yeah. Athleticism and just just overwhelming of a want to, and just competitive spirit, to be honest with you. And we're going to see front court players who can, rip and drive, who are going to be on top of a press, who are relentless, trying to just dictate defensively, get deflections and steals. And then you got post players who are extremely physical. They're 6'3", but, they're strong. They're ducking in, being really physical as well, and so forth. So we're going to have our work cut out for us. We know they're going to press us. We got to value the ball. We got to take care of the ball. We got to meet passes. We got to execute. This is a team that, really thrives. Their defense creates their offense. They score, and they're averaging 20 points in transition. So we got to take away those transition points, and we got to force them to play in the half court. And so we got to make sure that we do a great job offensively and execute as well. We don't want to, get up, take quick shots and then we're, sprinting back defensively and we're giving up one-legged layups. We got to force them to play in the half court.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be the Panthers and the Bulldogs coming up Thursday night. A 7 o'clock tip will be on the air with you at 6:45. Tori, thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Thanks so much to Michaela Johnson, to Lauren Rust, and to Tori Verdi. I'm Josh Roundtree, as we will see you and talk to you on Thursday night at 6:45 for the Panthers and the Mississippi State Bulldogs, part of the ACC SEC Challenge. This has been the Tori Verdi Coaches Show right here on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network.